are live. What's up, guys? So, you already know what it is. We're doing Momentum Monday today. Let's go. So, today, guys, first of all, thank y'all for hopping on. For those who are currently on, I know we'll be getting some more guests later on in a bit as well. But so today we're going to be covering a very important topic, and that is prospecting, right? Basically, it's the art of qualifying people too, right? So, the way I like to explain it, guys, prospecting, it's not hard, and it shouldn't be either, right? It's real simple if we understand what we're actually doing when we're talking to people, right? Because what we do, guys, like this isn't like we should never have like the shark approach, right? Where all we want to do is just get people because all we have is like the commission dollars in our minds, right? Because that right there, like it's not really you're not really trying to build relationships at that point, and people can definitely like see through that, right? So when it comes to prospecting for me, guys, like honestly, like because you have to be intentional too, right? So you don't want to waste your time talking to unqualified people, right? And that's exactly why we take the time to prospect and actually qualify, right? Because you gotta realize too, like prospecting is almost like interviewing people. Okay, it's pretty much like it's the process of seeing whether or not they're a perfect fit for you and your business, right? Two, if you guys even like on the same wavelength, that same frequency, to even like actually like able to build the business together, right? And then three, is really about, I mean, and obviously too, for one, if they even drink water and then they can afford it too, right? In the long run. So, because obviously you don't want to be talking to someone. We meet a lot of people, right, who love the product, they love the idea of it, they want to get the machine, but they're just broke, right? They don't got the money yet. So in that case, right, I'm not saying like disregard those people, but you definitely want to put them on the back burner. And you don't want to give them too much of your attention because you want to only mess with qualified people, right? So but I'm gonna share my screen right now too. And all right, so I'm sharing that. Let's go. What y'all think about my background though in Magic? I'm gonna change it though. That's actually temporary because I had a lot of files got deleted. Well, I actually transferred them. So, oh, you already know. I was listening to Straight Line. But all right, guys, check it out. So, art of prospecting, right? Which is qualifying quality people, right? That's what I like to call it. Qualifying quality people because, for one, we only want quality people inside our organization to begin with, right? Because, we can sell machines all day, right? We can, by all means, you know what I'm saying? Somebody wants to buy a machine, sell it. But, when it comes to actually getting somebody on your team, right? And getting somebody involved in the business, you have to qualify them and even see if you want to do business with this person, right? Because I know a lot of us, right, especially like when we get started in the beginning, we want to just like basically prospect everybody, right? Everybody's a prospect, everybody's getting water, everybody's getting exposed to the business, like, because we're that excited and we believe in it that much, right? But it's like you have to realize like you don't want everybody inside of your organization, right? You really don't. You want quality people because quality people is what's gonna scale your team up, right? Like everybody on this call right now, quality people, right? That's what we are, guys. Quality people because we take the time to invest in ourselves, right? And we're taking the initiative to actually build a business, right? And that's what a lot of people do not do. Okay, so what is prospecting, right? So I mean, the way I like to describe it too is really weaning out people who are not interested, right? Basically what I just said, or who do not qualify. Okay, so because when this happens, guys, if we don't prospect correctly, what starts happening is we become desperate, right? And I mean that because if we're not prospecting correctly, because we're talking to the wrong people, right? And when you're talking to the wrong person, this business seems to be very difficult to you, right? Because you start wondering, why am I not getting the results that everybody else is getting? Why is nobody buying machines? Why does nobody want to drink my water? Why does nobody want to like watch a video? Whatever it is, right? And it's only because you're talking to the wrong person, right? I promise you it is. I promise you the water works for one, the business works for two, right? And I promise you, you just need to talk to the right people. Okay, so because we're not talking to the right people, right? Basically, and also too, right? So, like I said, we start becoming desperate, right? Because at that point, then we're like, dang man, nobody's buying, nobody's interested, and we become like we get in that desperate state where where almost like we need a sale, right? And we need it like right then and then, and it's like, but when that happens though, you literally radiate your own energy, right? I mean, we all have energy, right? Everything's energy. So your prospect and everybody around you can definitely feel that energy, right? Especially like when you start getting desperate, because it gets to the point where they feel like you need them, right? And you don't ever want to get to that point, right? You don't ever want to have your prospects feel like you need them, right? Because they don't, right? I mean, because you don't need them, right? You don't need them. At the end of the day, they need you, right? Because one, we have what they want, we have what they need, right? And we have what the rest of the world needs too. Okay, so everybody else is eventually gonna have one of these, right? So, but like I said, we have to I'm getting better about here. But yeah, so and so when that happens, guys, they can definitely feel our energy, right? And low energy, right, equals uncertainty, right? And nobody wants to do business with somebody who is uncertain of where they're going, what they're selling, who they're with, what their business is, and what team they're on, right? So you have to be confident. And it's like, remember, like I've said this like multiple times, right? Success is really being able to move from failure to failure, right? Without losing your enthusiasm, okay? Because you have to get used to that, right? When somebody says no, smile, smile and be happy, because you know that every no is getting you that much closer to a yes, right? Um, think of it this way, okay? Think of it like eventually, what if it gets to the ratio where 1 out of every 10 people you talk to ends up buying a machine, right? And if that happens, then that means what? If 1 out of every 10 ends up buying a machine, that means every time you get a no on your first no, your second no, your third no, your fourth no, that means you're literally making money, right? Because you got a picture like, say, all right, for every 10 no's, I'm making $1,000, right? So that means, okay, cool. You could literally break that down, and it starts making sense of how much money you're actually making per no, right? So, and it's like, and when that happens, guys, then it's literally a mental thing, right? And so, remember, moving from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm is huge. Okay, it's huge, right? Because like I said, because your prospects can definitely feel that energy, right? And nobody wants to do business with somebody who's desperate, and because honestly, like when you're talking to a bunch of unqualified buyers, right? What happens is you begin to doubt yourself, even if the business works, you doubt like whether or not the water works, you doubt whether or not the compensation plan works, you doubt whether or not you're on the right team, you doubt whether or not you even should have, whatever, guys, you know what I'm saying? And it's because you're getting a bunch of no's, right? But like I said, it's only because you're not talking to the right people, because I can definitely assure you that one, like I said, like the business works, right? And the water definitely works too, and I can assure you that much. So the point is, we don't want to waste our time talking to a bunch of unqualified people, right? So because like I said, otherwise you will make your life miserable trying to build this business, guys. And it does not have to be miserable, right? It's simple. It really is, but only when you're talking to the right person. Okay. So, and when it comes to that, right. And so how to raise basically a person's action threshold, right? And what does that mean, right? So raising somebody's action threshold means what? Like getting them from point A to point B, where they're like, okay, you know what? I'm thinking about it. It sounds cool, to the point where like, yo, you know what? Let's do it, right? Because it's the right move for them, And so, so once you get to that point, it's really about turning like that contact into a contract, right? That's really what the whole point of qualifying people is, and even prospecting to begin with, right? You're really trying to see whether or not if this business is the perfect fit for them, right? And that's literally like what you have to do, So when it gets to that point, and because remember, turning the contact into a contract, it's a process, right? It takes work, guys. It takes building relationships, and it takes talking to the right person and saying the right things, because you know what,
I'm better.
like I know that saying where it talks about, hey, like you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, or you can never say the right thing to the wrong person, right? So I agree with that to a certain extent, because while like 'cause you can never really say the right thing to the wrong person, right? So if it's the wrong person, it's the wrong person. But you can say the wrong thing to the right person, right? Only because, remember, it's not about what we're saying, guys, it's about how we say it. Okay, so if our delivery is faulty, and if we miss some key points, you might have missed the opportunity to turn a quality and a qualified buyer and into like a teammate, right? And it's like you missed the opportunity because it's like you're not asking the right questions, or you're not saying things the right way, because you're not prospecting correctly, right? So but once we turn a contact into a contract, right, then basically like your whole art of prospecting has won, right? And all this is literally going to be portrayed through tonality, right? Tonality always is going to carry the day, right? It really is, no matter what you're saying, no matter who you're talking to, the way you say it is always going to matter, okay? Because it's just like they say, like 90% of communication is actually how we're saying things, not even what we're saying, right? The 10%, that's literally like what we're saying, like the actual words, right? But people, the way we say things, right? It literally it basically it creates emotion in people, right? It drives energy, right? The way we say things, the shift in tonalities, And for one, it keeps people more engaged, right? And two, like I said, it really portrays certain feelings, right? People start picking up certain energies just from literally just from your tonality, right? So it's huge, it's huge. And so the three things that need to be established for this, right? So when we're prospecting, okay, you got to realize, guys, everybody on this call right now, literally, like, congratulations, because you are all business owners. I don't know if you guys know that, but you're a business owner. You own a business, right? You have a business, and you have a system along with that business that works for you. Okay, so you're a business owner, right? And so taking that into consideration, what does that mean, guys? If you're a business owner, then that means like, we got to act like a business owner too, right? And that's going to be portrayed through the way we speak. It's going to be portrayed through our body language, the way we carry ourselves, right? Because we have to, guys, even though, like, we're not spilling our business and opportunity at every single person we talk to, but the point is, though, that the fact that we have a business, right, that should create confidence in yourself, because you know what, you're taking risk to eliminate future risk, right? And a lot of people admire that, right? A lot of people admire people who can go into business for themselves, because they can't even fathom the idea of doing it themselves, right? So it's like, so in your case, like, people look up to you, right? You started a business, people, like, literally don't even have that opportunity, right? And that's where we come in too, okay? For the people who actually my bad. For the people who actually uh for the people who actually are looking for an opportunity out there, right, and don't have it, this is literally going to be the perfect fit for them, right? Because why? Everybody drinks water, and two, like, the compensation plan is literally unlike any other, right? I'm sure you guys seen it, right? Come on, like, the compensation plan is amazing, guys. So, but the three things that need to be established, especially as a business owner, is what, guys? This is something that Jordan Belfort talks about, right? This is where I learned all of my information from, right? A lot of what I'm talking about literally comes from Straight Line. So if you guys are familiar with the material, then a lot of this should be just strictly review, right? Because, like, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, like, on this call have listened to Straight Line. So honestly, like, drop a comment and let me know if you've already listened to all 10 modules, because that would be amazing. I need to know that. If you have, just say I don't know, say you have or whatever. But so the three things, right, that Jordan talks about, and this is literally key, okay? Because if these things are missing, right, if these three things aren't present, literally, true, Anne's killing it, Brisma's killing it, let's go. If these three things aren't, like, literally portrayed, like, over a phone call, in person, through messaging, through social media, whatever it is, guys, then you're probably not gonna either be able to basically attract this person into your business, right? And so these three things, give me one sec. I just dropped my phone. And these three things, right, is they basically need to be established, what he talks about, almost within the first, like, 4 seconds or so, right? Almost within the first, like, 4 seconds of, like, of the interaction, right? Whether it's in person, and especially over the phone, right? Because it's so simple to do over the phone, because it doesn't even require body language, right? I mean, it does to a certain extent on your own part, so it'd be easier for you to actually say certain things. But for one, he talks about is what number one is going to be sharp as a tack, right? You have to be sharp, guys. People love doing business with sharp people who know what they're doing, know what they're saying, know where they're going, and know who they're hanging with, right? So you have to be sharp, and the way you can do that is, like, what I tell, like, this is basically what I've been telling you guys, right? Especially when we get on these three-way calls, is that when you're going to call this person, especially when it's over the phone, you need to call them right on the dot, right? It has to be done right on the dot, because that's already shown, like, dang, when, like, because if you guys have an appointment for, hey, like, I'm going to give you a call at 7:30 p.m., whatever, evening, they're like, perfect, okay, great. I'll give you a call right at that time, right? And later on, that's hours later, and they see you're calling them right at 7:30. As soon as the minute changes, they're like, whoa, this person's sharp. They're on it. They're serious about this. They really want to help me, right? So, and that's the way it's going to happen, right? And then two, is being enthusiastic, right? Enthusiastic as hell is the way Jordan describes it. And being enthusiastic is really only reassuring, and it's amplifying your sharpness too, right? The more enthusiastic we are, the more sharp we just appear, right? Because why? Because we're giving energy, emotions, and we're driving people. And it's like, because, like, it's like an unconscious, subconscious thing that's going on in people's minds, right? When you come off super sharp, super enthusiastic, right? Already they're like, subconsciously, they're like, yo, this person's a figure of authority, right? Because why? Because the way you're saying things, right? So those are the three things that really need to be established, especially when qualifying people, because, qualifying, yes, you're looking to for quality people, but it's also basically your chance to show them why they should be on your team, right? Because you're showing them the type of person you are, you're showing them how sharp you are, how enthusiastic you are, you're showing them how much of a figure of authority you can be, right? Because people want to follow people who know what they're doing, right? They don't want to like sign up with somebody and they're like, okay, dude, like, I mean, do you even know what you're doing, or can you at least get me connected with somebody who does, And so and it's like, we always want to act as if, guys, even if you don't, like, no matter what, if you're a 1A, 2A, 0A, whatever it is, right? 6A, you have to act as if still, and always, even right now, if you're just getting started, right, you basically want to act as if you're already a 6A, act as if you already have a huge team all over the world, right? And you have to do it because, you know why? Because basically what you're doing, I like to call that, is like almost like remembering your future, right? Because when we do that, guys, like, we're almost like I said, we're remembering our future because we're acting as if like these events have already happened, right? We're acting as if like these things have already occurred. And when that happens, guys, like subconsciously, you're literally preparing your body, also biologically, to actually prepare for that future event, right? Because now, like, in your mind, it's so powerful once you start envisioning your future, guys, and really like, which is why I always preach about being intentional, right? Being intentional, and because once you have a strong intention, right, and you basically combine that with a strong emotion, right? What begins to happen, guys, is that you literally start to you basically set your, like, you program your whole life to basically attract that into your life, right? And it happens. It's manifestation, right? It's part of it, right? And you're setting yourself up to literally step into that future, to step into that person, and it's like, so you have to do it, right? Because it's basically part of being a visionary, of having a vision, right? Because having a vision and like is literally like what is it's seeing something before it's even there, it's seeing something before it's even created, and yeah, we getting big, though. I'm not going to sign a bit. We're literally seeing like our future unfold before our very eyes, before it's even done in our physical like world, right? So which is why that's so huge, because like I said, it really starts to create confidence in yourself too, and it affects the way you carry yourself, and it affects the way you interact with others too, right? Because once you have a clear vision of your future and you can literally see yourself already like having it and owning it, everything you want, like you start going about your day and you start going about your interactions with a relaxed belief, right? Believing and knowing that it can happen for you, okay? And when that happens, guys, that becomes attractive, right? That's attractive to people who are uncertain of their futures and where they're going, So the better you can get at really like just not stressing too much as far as like just knowing that this business works and knowing that you're going to attract the right people because you're becoming a better version of yourself. Like when that happens, guys, like I said, like it starts rubbing off on others and they can see that, and they can see like the vision instilled in yourself, and they want to follow that, like people want to be part of something that they feel like is much bigger than themselves, right? And that goes for anything, right? Like literally anything and everything. Okay, so but sorry guys, I'm trying to get bit out here. I'm like, yo, there's a bunch of mosquitoes, but it's like it's kind of loud inside, so I don't want to go in there right now. But anyway, so the art, this is the beauty of being, look at this, guys. This is what we do, yo. We entrepreneurs. We can build a business from anywhere. That's what's amazing, right? So it doesn't matter where we are in the world. We can serve people, yo. So, but yeah, so that's really like what that is, right? It's really the art of persuasion, and it's knowing that we have a system that works for us, guys. And that's really what this is, right? Because once we start doing it, I'm saying once we start prospecting correctly, this business, like, it becomes so simple, right? And it becomes so like, yo, we can do this because now you're really being yourself, and the easier the better you get at being yourself, in the beginning it's kind of hard because you're just starting off in the business, right? You don't even know like what to say to people, how to act, because you just started a business, right? And you're like thinking about your future, you're thinking about the money that could happen, you're thinking about the checks, you're thinking about everything, right? And all that comes into play. And so like it definitely affects your interactions with people, right? Especially when you bring it up, and but you have to realize, guys, that like I said, it's a system that works, and so the better we can get at really just being ourselves around other people, what happens is you start attracting your type of people, right? And when you attract your type of people, the sales come, right? Because everybody on this call right now, like, we are all similar in a lot of ways, right? That's why we're on this call, because a lot of us, like, we have a lot of similarities, and so I was able to attract you guys into my life, and you attracted me into your life based off the people that you were becoming, and so, but it's like, but that doesn't happen though, like, unless we're actively out there, literally trying to step into a higher version of ourselves, and so, but, and as similar as we all are, of course we have our differences, right? And that's how it's going to be with anybody that you interact with. But those, basically, like, you want those similarities outweighing the differences, right? And it's like, when that happens, like I said, like, literally all this becomes simple, and it's like this business just literally seems easy. So look at that, they got some water back there. Sheesh. Yo, just with the family, let's go. But yeah, guys, so that, and like I said, once all that comes into play and you start recognizing the system that's going to work for you, like, this literally becomes that easy, right? So, and then qualifying questions, right? So part of qualifying is really being able to ask, like, quality questions, right? And asking the right questions too, okay? Because, like I said, you could really never say the right thing to the wrong person, but you can definitely say the wrong thing to the right person if, if you're not saying it properly, right? Or if your approach is off, or whatever it is, right? So you got to ask custom questions. Okay. So what I like to do is, like, for one, I wasn't able to type in these out, but basically, like, okay, custom questions, right? Custom questions that are custom to our business and what we do, right? And because, like, especially when we're prospecting people, guys, if we're messaging people through Instagram, if you meet somebody in person, you meet somebody at the gym, you have to be intentional with what you're saying. You have to be intentional with the way you approach them, the way, the first thing you say to them, right? Because you want to come off as what, right? Sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, right? And a figure of authority, right? And so all that's going to happen literally within the first, like, 4 seconds of exposure, right? So, but you have to ask quality questions, okay? So what I like to do is, the way I basically, like, I'll ask somebody, like, even if it's in person, right? But especially if I'm typing it out, right? I'm asking, like, I'm literally gonna ask, like, I have a bunch of questions to ask just before I can ask, like, one question that I've been trying to get to, right? And it's like, if you have to, like, and that's part of just being intentional with what you're asking, and it's part of, like, getting to know the person too, right? And these questions, guys, like, the reason why there's no bullets here, because there's no formula for this, right? I can't give you the questions I ask people, because, you know what? It's the way I do it. It's a part of being yourself, right? And it's part of, like, literally talking to the people that you want to talk to, right? People that you want to be friends with, people you want in your business, okay? And so when that happens, like, I mean, it should come organically, right? Literally qualifying people, getting to know somebody, whether or not they even care about their health, whether or not they're business minded, whether or not they're entrepreneurial, whether or not they've been looking for an opportunity, right? Whether or not they even want clean water, whatever it is, right? Or even if they got money, right? Because, like I said, you will have to talk to quality people. So, and you're gonna find all that out, even if they have a job, what they do. It's just like by getting to know a person, right? Like, what if you, like, picture this? What if you're just like, you're out somewhere, I don't know, I don't know, let's say you're at the gym, right? Or you're at the restaurant, or you're at the mall, right? Somebody walks up to you, right? And, like, maybe just ask you a question, right? Or you happen to run into somebody, and it's like, it's just random, right? And it's like, and if you're in that environment where you're like, you know what, like, I want to get to know this person, or just think back to, like, when any previous relationship that you currently have right now, think back to how that started, right? Think back to how that approach went. Think back to the first thing you said to this person, or, think back how your approach was, and the type of energy you were literally given to that situation, right? Because, like, because, that is really just part, like I said, of becoming people's friends, and because, like, the people that I'm gonna attract on, like, like, I'm gonna go, like, sell direct to, is gonna be different. It's gonna be slightly different from the people that you guys attract, right? And are gonna, like, go direct with. We're all gonna have similarities, right? Because, like I said, because everybody on this call right now, we already have so many similarities. So those similarities are gonna rub off onto the people that you attract onto our team as well, right? But it's like everybody's slightly different, okay? So, like I said, the people I attract is gonna be different from the people that Anna attracts, from Kevin attracts, that Brisma attracts, that Adam, Daniel attracts, like, we all attract different people. My boy Mario, Tony, like, we all attract different people, and it's like, and why? Because we're all unique, right? We're all unique, and we act a certain way, and we all, like, we all have our own ways of basically going about things, right? So, I actually want to, let's see, who's on here right now? speak. Let's let's see. Okay. Let's see. Is it? What do you do? All right. Okay. So I was gonna bring somebody on, but you know what's cool. So what we're gonna do, guys. Let's see. I had a slide set up. Got it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So, but as far as when it comes to that, guys, like I said, we have to be super intentional with the questions we ask because it's really about because you don't want to like I said, you don't want to waste your time or your energy just talking to the wrong people, right? Because when that happens, like I said, you really start just doubting yourself. You know, you doubt whether or not like any of this works. You know, and it's like you don't want to get to that point, right? Because I was definitely there like in the beginning, right? Like for me, you know, I had a lot of down moments too, right? Because you know, like, I was talking because I spent a lot of time talking to the wrong people, you know, and that's why I'm stressing so much over here because like my first year was, you know, I didn't get the results I expected because you know I was too busy wasting time trying to turn a non-buyer into a buyer, right? Basically trying to like just qualify the wrong people, okay? And so that was my issue, you know, that was going on with me, and so, but it's like once I figured out that you know what, that I didn't want everybody on my team, you know, I really didn't. Like it got to the point where I'm like, you know what, like I don't even like I only want to associate with quality people, you know, I only want people who are, you know, who are winners.
So what's up,
Yeah.
everybody?